Shaq and Kobe back. Shaq and Kobe is back for the chip.
Crazy, baby, crazy.
Episode 240, more than the title. You know what it is. I'm your host, Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And of course, I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. Cuz, what's the vibes, baby?
In the building, man. And of course, today is Tuesday, starting off the week, one of our favorite days of the week, Pod Day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite podcast, and we're back. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say it so I don't forget it. We got another phenomenal guest.
Crazy.
And I'm telling you now, you're going to want to record this. You're going to want to download this, right? You're going to want to share this. So you're going to drop a lot of gems. We've been talking in the green room already. She's going to drop a lot of gems on y'all. So I'm telling y'all, get ready. This is going to be a powerful episode. But you know how we like to start every episode, G&T, grateful and thankful. What I'm going to send this G&T out to is to the men and the women in the United States that are preparing the aid packages that are going to Jamaica and Haiti because that hurricane that is hitting that island is completely devastating the island, right? I just want to send a heartfelt thank you from the More Than the Title crew to you guys. This is what humanity looks like, right? There's a lot of people over there that are losing their homes and losing their ability to fend for themselves, and for you guys to be packaging up those aid kits, even though, you know, I know you can only do so much, something is absolutely better than nothing. So shout out to everybody out there that's donating their time, who has donated any type of money and or product that can be used by some of these families that are being severely affected by this natural disaster, because you can't plan for something like this, unfortunately.
Shout out to the whole island. Yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You know, you saw the videos look like AI. I was like, God.
Yeah.
Damn. So I carry a couple of people from the island.
There's a guy. He's an influencer. I forget his name just now, but he's an influencer from Jamaica, and he's actually out there videotaping the waves hitting, and all his videos are going viral because he's in the middle of the storm. He's standing out. Everybody like, yo, you got to get to safety. And he's like, nah, you got to see what's going on. And he's videotaping this shit as it's happening. So, you know, be careful out there.
Would you do that shit for content? Quick question before we start. Would you do that shit for content?
I ain't gonna lie. I might do a little, but a man's got to know his limitations. I see some tsunami shit coming. I ain't going. I'm Scooby doing it out of there. Get the mystery machine, Jarrett. I'm out of here. I'm keeping it a hundo. I might do a little something, but you got to know when to call it quits. You see a fucking wave that look like a building. Poor man.
Well, they got a life jacket.
All content is not good content.
That's a fact. But you know, like I said, our hearts and prayers go out to those families, and we will continue to monitor the situation. And listen, if anybody is out there that has an organization that needs to donate or something like that, and you want to some type of donation, or you want to get the word out, hey, contact us. We will gladly help you do a segment or anything like that to help get the information out where people can donate products, services, or any type of funds to help these people out, because this is what the human being thing is to do, right? Humanity first, ladies and gentlemen, humanity first.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that. And I know that the audience don't know a damn about me or who I am, but sometimes it takes things bigger than us, right? To pull back and realize that we still are on the same side. We're all humans. And when we think about what's happening in America with the political landscape and the divide and friction that's happening and the government shutdown, all of that has to go aside when real life takes over. And this storm is absolutely bonkers. And we all need to come together to help Jamaica.
Message. There it is.
It is. We partying, yo. We partying. Yeah, with that said, let's give you the intro. We gotta give you. Let's start the show. With that being said, we gotta get this queen the proper introduction. So if you already know, this is More Than the Title, y'all. So first time listeners, welcome to the show. People's back here, second, third, our usuals. What's up, y'all? You already know nothing but love. But you know what it is, man. We're going to talk to leaders, creators, change makers, people who are redefining what success really looks like. Today, this sister right here is the Global Inclusion and Diversity Lead at Block, which is the company behind Square, Cash App, and Tidal. She's an author, coach, and executive who's built a career helping people and organizations create cultures where belonging drives innovation. She's certified in leadership coaching and DEI at NYU, led major diversity and talent initiatives at Morgan Stanley, BNP Paribas, and has been recognized across the country for her work in women empowerment, LGBTQ plus advocacy, and community leadership. From the block to the boardroom, right? And let's give you, before we even give the intro, we met this queen in Black Week.
Facts.
To Alana. Met this queen in Black Week. Shout out to our sis. She said, you absolutely need to have this queen on your show.
Facts.
It wasn't an ad. It wasn't no, we exchanged numbers. Since then, she said everything that she said she was going to do, she has done. She's pulled up today. It took less than a month to make this happen. But let's introduce our sister, Mr. Jennifer Lewis Ford, y'all.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah. You kept it a beansky. You official. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it is. And we got comments coming in already, ladies and gentlemen, too. See, Uncle Sway say prayers go out to the people in Jamaica. Shout out Chadeo and the team. Shout out to you, Uncle Sway, who's always been a supporter of the movement and for the community. He's one that definitely gives back, man. We appreciate you, Sway.
Yeah. And also, you forgot the most important title I have, which is CVO, which is Chief Vibes Officer, because I bring the vibes wherever I go.
So hold on now. Hold on now. Because that was crazy. Can you say that one more time? Chief
Vibes Officer. I gotta maintain the vibes. We're at this level. Vibes are high.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought you was gonna say the greatest title you had was mom. I ain't gonna lie. I thought she was gonna say mom. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you was gonna say mom. I thought you were gonna say mom.
We could go there because, like, listen, I'm a mom. I am. I have three beautiful sons. And it's a really important and special part of my identity, but it's not my only bag. And I think that for me, there are women out there that just really lean into wanting to identify as a mother. But I know personally, I wouldn't be a whole person or just happy with that. So for me to be my whole self and my full self and my best self, I have to do things that make me proud so that I'm leading by example for my young kings and not just pouring everything I have into them, because this is what this moment's about. Like, I'm raising me and my kids at the same time. We're pulling ourselves out of generations of things that we're trying to outgrow. In order for me to do that, I have to lead with myself and authenticity and the things that God has instilled me to do on this planet. And I think everybody needs to lean into that. Kids are great, but they can only be great if you're great. So
screaming baby.
Going to kill me every time.
Screaming baby.
That was crazy.
That was good. I like that. She partied. She made a party. So, like Cuz always like to say, we like to start off the show at the beginning. For our listeners that don't know who you are, before we get to who you are in this moment, we have to backtrack to say, who was you back in the day, right? Who's Jenni from back in the day, right? And we like to know where you grew up at, what are your early influences, and kind of what kind of got you started in this thing called life.
Yeah. We can go back. I'm gonna try to make this a quick merry-go-round, but I am at my core just an odd girl from the PJs, right? just someone that by all intents and purposes should have been counted out. I grew up on Staten Island, New York. Shout out to Staten Island if you're in the building.
The woo.
If you have subjects on Staten Island, meet me outside and offline. We could talk about it. We are a part of New York City. You know, we got woo. We got lots of other folks of greatness that come from the island. I am no different from many of my peers. I had a mother that had me at 14, parents that were children. Grew up in West Brighton, Murder Brighton, it's called out here. And life was your like typical 90s, 80s movie, right? Like there was many of us in the house. What I think was different for me is that I grew up in a multi-racial, multi-ethnic household, but we had really strong values. So it took me almost 12 years to realize I was poor. So yeah,
I had to pause for that. I was like, "What? Damn! When did I?"
Got hit with shit.
When did I realize we were broke?
Yeah, when did that dawn on you? Like, when was that aha moment? That's when my life changed. That's when I was like, "Oh, we're gonna fix this because I ain't gonna do this." So I grew up in the PJs, but I went to Catholic school. And we had a timeshare. So it was like we had luxury once a week, every August. And so when I would go to the Poconos, shout out to the Poconos, everybody knows that was the move back then.
Share was the real. We had a timeshare. We was out there.
Treetops Villa. Stop it. Stop
Fernwood.
Yeah, Fernwood.
I had a time to be home. That was it.
Yeah.
Be home before the fucking street lights come on. And that was it. I don't know nothing about no timeshare.
Listen, that was like the move. You had to live like a rich person for a week, a year. You're like, there's stairs in the house. There was stairs in the house, not outside the house, in the house. So when I saw the stairs in the house, I'm like, this is it. This is what I want. And so that early exposure, I think, to a different way of living, and also just really early exposure to the different levels of like culture in the world really helped kind of broaden my mind. But like I was free to kind of like be myself. So I was very sassy, very like mouthy. I knew very much early on that I wanted to be like a lawyer, a politician, or president, or something of that nature. And there was no one in the room that was telling me, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Now, what did happen is that I was the fat, funny friend growing up. So I think that really actually saved me. It really did in a weird way, because I wasn't obsessed with boys and I wasn't obsessed with validation. And I was really just obsessed with just being the best version of myself. So I always had this like passion for learning and just evolving and being more. Now, when I realized I was poor, it wasn't until high school. So when I went to high school, I went to the toughest school to get into on Staten Island called St. Joseph Hill Academy.
Okay.
And you had to have like perfect scores to get in this school. It was even harder to get into than like the Notre Dame on Staten Island. And I got into it on my first try. So I was like, yes, I had a scholarship, got into it, but the scholarship only covered this much. And in order for me to pay for the rest, I had to clean the classrooms.
Really?
And I was now this is Staten Island. This is the 90s. I'm on one side of the island. Staten Island is very segregated, especially during that time period. Most people of color were on one side. The other side, you didn't see us, right? We weren't even, they're still burning crosses on that side of the island. So I would travel an hour and a half each day to go to that school, and I was one of 3 Black students. Damn! Yeah. And that's when I got exposed to racism, poverty lines, redlining. I got introduced to this whole world where it's like, you are the other. Like you grow up in the P's and it's a whole different set of problems, but you're around communities and you're around people that look like you, that talk like you, that dress like you, like that, And so being in this almost alien environment was like a shock to the system. It was a shock to me. And that's when I realized, oh, people don't all live in brown buildings.
Yeah.
They didn't even know what a building looked like on that side. So yeah. So it was kind of like my early years was really shaped by those experiences of like understanding that we were not operating in the same construct as other people, and also experiencing exclusion very early on, and really drove me to try to understand, why do people separate themselves? Why do people put themselves in these buckets and hate each other for things that are out of our control? And ultimately, it's so like resounding, because here I am as like a diversity officer, and that's really my mission, is really to help break down barriers. Like we are one race, the human race, and we all need skills to be able to work better together, to be able to work across cultural divides, because look what happens when we don't. We all suffer for it. And it just really drove my passion for like equity work, understanding why people treat people the way they do, social psychology, group organizational think. And that kind of led me onto like this journey of trying to figure it out. And here I am still trying to figure it out, but we got some successes. It's not something that's going to be solved overnight. Clearly, it's been 400 years, right? So I think there just needs to be more people in this space that have that same curiosity and drive to solve for it.
That's real. I want to get you said a lot. You said a lot of gems, and we could unpack a lot. But before we do, though, just before we go too far in the career, I want to. What if you can give diversity a new look or a new name, a new brand? Like, what would you want people to understand about the work that they may not understand today? What's that?
Yeah, I have a lot to say on that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, there's not even a cool word no more. In 2020, I saw they was giving out jobs like hotcakes. I was what?
Oh yeah, it's like now it's like a dirty word, right? It's like illegal. The thing about the work, right, is that for so long it was led with diversity, which is like, okay, so what? We all have differences. Like in this space, as much as we have in common, we're each diverse, unique human beings. We have gender diversity, we have social economic diversity, we have, if you went to college, if you went to not, there's so many ways that we could separate ourselves. There's so many ways that we could divide ourselves, that focusing on that first is kind of doing us a disservice, because then it becomes us versus them versus how do we do better for our people? And how do we do better for our employees or the people in our country or organizations? And so I think the first thing we should change, or that has been changing now, is the fact that it's just hyper focused on the word diversity. And that also, it lends to these types of conversations where they're now discrediting people who have earned, right, their place and earned how hard it is to be in these spaces, to have earned the privilege and honor to be in these spaces, and now gets to get whitewashed, and people just get to say, oh, they're just a diversity hire. So I think that when it comes to this particular realm of HR and this particular realm of and field of work, that we've done ourselves a disservice around the conversations that we have around it and how we talk about the difference first. Now, the beauty of diversity is when we unlock collaboration and we are able to work together, and that's inclusion, right? Now that's when we get to the fun stuff. That's when we think about the possibilities, because diversity is a fact. That's all it is. It's a fact. We're different. Inclusion is the work. How do we get people to work together? How do we get voices in the room, voices heard, equity? How do we do those things? So like, I think it's time. Like, believe me, don't come for me. I am not like at all okay with what the government and how these conversations are evolving, but it was time to evolve. It was time to switch the narrative. And I think if we can get through this, the narrative is going to be even stronger and better for all of us. So they're thinking about, when you hear about diversity programs, you think about hiring, you think about representation. You don't think about maternity leave, right? Which affects everybody. Sick leave, benefits, development programs, making sure that people can't discriminate against you at work, ensuring that we have programs to hire veterans who are the most like impacted population of the diversity groups, that we now have accommodations for folks that think differently, for unseen disabilities and unseen things that people are going through, and just having a culture where it's okay to be human. And when we think about, that's workplace culture, but when you think about actual like product innovation, diversity is incredible. So like some of the things that I love to chat about is when we think about cars and we think about car seats, when car seats were first invented, they were only modeled and invented for men. So when you get into a car accident, women were 10 times more likely to die, because nobody in that room was a woman that was designing the seatbelts, and they weren't thinking about women when they were designing the seatbelts. So like when you think about, okay, now we have to figure that out. That is diversity. That is inclusion. And it just got kind of the whole Black Lives Matter movement and like the way that it's been weaponized now. All of those things that come from the melding of diversity, the fruits of that, it's gone. It's not a part of the conversation anymore. And it absolutely should be.
Message. The only thing I want to add to that is we just can't forget why these things were created in the first place. You see, if we forget why these programs were created in the first place, then we get hung up around what we're doing with the program, right? If everybody was on a level playing field, then we wouldn't need any type of special program to help anybody else catch up. But the actuality of the situation is these programs were created to try to give the lower minority class, right, that was continually being pushed down to be the lower minority class, an actual fighting chance at just getting or developing some type of decent life for themselves and their families, right? Remember, diversity, that's this diversity. Back in the day, the whole diversity thing started with having to hire a certain amount of Black people in general, right? And then diversity also is the same thing with in including Black kids that go to school with white children, right? And take it a step further, when there was mostly predominantly white neighborhoods where Blacks couldn't even move into that neighborhood, where you had to pass a bill or an act where say you can't discriminate against who's moving into. So it's a lot. Like you said, it's 400 years of us being oppressed and held down, and us being 50 steps back, that these programs are created. Now, fast forward to now, the problem that diversity is such a negative word now, it has a negative connotation, is because of who's in leadership and what they're trying to do. Now, if we had the right person in leadership, then we could continue moving forward, have the conversation, evolve it, and move forward. But when you have people in leadership that's now trying to backtrack us and take us 50 steps back again, this is the end result of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you nailed it. You nailed it, Chadeo. We have to question why these programs were invented in the first place. So you asked me how I would reframe diversity. I would say diversity is evolution. It's evolution. And what happens is that, you know, we're a country that was founded off of slavery, and there's a lot of deep anti-Blackness, right? And so people hear the word diversity, you know what they're hearing in their mind? They're hearing Black. They're hearing Black. But they're not understanding that even up until like less than 100 years ago, women couldn't vote. They couldn't own property, right? Less than 40, like, you know, just in the 60s and 70s, Black women could do it. So we're still living in a very recent time frame that these things were a part of our lives, where people are still living experience this systematic discrimination. And so when we talk about these programs and these changes to the law, we're talking about evolution, and that somehow that's been weaponized. Like the Constitution was invented at a time where Black men, like white men, were in power, and women weren't even like, you know, a part of that conversation. Black people were not a part of that conversation. So there's nothing wrong with evolving as a nation to meet the needs of your people. And so our people are here. We want rights. We want access. It's okay to evolve in that direction. Look at who doesn't want us to evolve.
That's the real thing. But it's also, it's hard to disseminate or even segment the performative work from who's real. Because when it was cool, we saw what happened. Like Philly's our brother. Like I was just down in Houston, went to George Floyd's blog, did all that stuff. Like it was crazy. Like it was a great experience. Shout out to PJ. But there was a lot of brands that was jumping on that bandwagon. There was a lot of brands doing a lot of stuff. There was hiring differently, and now because leadership's involved, you showing your true colors. So it makes me look at the work too. It's like, damn, how far are we getting? Was it really were they just doing it for this? Were they putting was there a you know what I'm saying, like a block on how far we could get with this because you really felt like this, but you had to do this for optics?
Yeah, and you can tell who's performative now. I knew it was going to swing.
Yeah,
the pendulum went all the way, and he had these people. What was that woman in the kente cloth, like kneeling, like Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah. That was nasty.
I was like, oh, damn.
I see some people sharing it. They was liking that. Some people was feeling it.
No, when she did that, I was like, it's
out of control.
It's going to swing back the other way. You cannot keep it over here. It's too far. It's too far. Human nature is here, right in the middle. So all these extremes, it's always going to come back here. But you can tell the companies that were performative. You can tell the companies that put up the black square, right? Like, what is that going to do to help police brutality? You put up a black square in solidarity. We don't need solidarity. We need help. We need help. We need police to stop brutalizing. We need laws impacting, making it councils that investigate police brutality and hold them accountable when it happens, and not just sweeping it under the rug. Like, we needed change. And what you got was a lot of people, because you had a captured audience that for their whole lives just made excuses and looked the other way, or said, no, that's not my friend Tom's black. He doesn't have to go through that. He doesn't get stopped by the police, blah, blah, blah. And you get people living in their own perspective, in their own little world. And then when we're trapped in the house for COVID, you had nowhere else to look. You had nowhere else to look. We were right there and we all saw it. We knew exactly what Karen was doing in Central Park. We knew exactly what was happening with George Floyd, and it was undeniable. And so you had these companies that felt compelled to move because they had employees that were like, we have to do something, and they just put up a square.
Message.
That's all you did. What happened to all that money you pledged to organizations? Like, what happened to changing? Those numbers never changed.
Yeah. Well, again, we have to understand what we're talking about. America in itself, the republic, the United States Republic, right, of which it was created to be a republic. These businesses are not owned and operated by us primarily, right? We have to understand who's owning and operating the businesses, who's their stakeholders, shareholders, who's on their board.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So once again, it leads us back to the same thing, that they're not experiencing what we're experiencing in real time, because in their neighborhoods, this is not happening. To their friends of the select few that have made it to the upper echelon, maybe Jeff doesn't get stopped by the police because of who Jeff is and who he associates with and his wealth. You understand what I'm saying?
There's two Jeffs in town. Everybody know Jeff.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? So, this problem is very deep rooted. Where I have the issue with it is there's not enough of us that are outraged enough that we are taking action from the people. See, here's the thing. The government can only do what we allow them to do. Plain and simple. The problem is we keep allowing them to do bullshit. You keep electing these people in there that are terrible for the country, and you keep electing them in, and then you get angry at the policies and the procedures that they sign into place and the laws and stuff that they enact. But if us as a people were outraged enough, let's say the Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd thing, all of that, if enough people there said, okay, let's come up with a game plan, let's band together, there's enough of us with wealth to start creating new businesses and operating, and we're only going to service our own community. The dollar talks, money talks. We would have had a completely different conversation 5 years later, 6, 7 years later. But because I'm not saying protests aren't good, right? Marching and peaceful protesting, I'm not saying that's not good, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah, it's not, but we have a issue. We have Houston, we have a problem. I'm gonna take off I'm speaking from a citizen standpoint. I'm speaking from a lecturer standpoint. We have a problem. So yes, and if this was Paris, they would have already been marching up into that place and it would have been a wrap. It would have been Rap City. We are still a very young country compared to the rest of the world. And our folks have internalized systematic racism to the point where we can't even get together for a proper rally, protest, community thing. And that I think about this often because I'm like, damn, if we can only get together, but that's exactly what was intended. So that's going to take years in itself to fix. And even now, when you look at the election, right? And who voted for the current president, and you see all these brown bodies that voted against their interest, that makes me feel like we have a political literacy problem. The same way that we need to be able to read and write and do math, we should be teaching kids around politics because they don't understand it. And it took me a long time to even understand it. And we're still all on this learning journey about how it works. And if you don't know how it works, then you can't change it. And so people are literally in this space of like feeling powerless and not knowing what to do, even though we're in a democracy right now. So please vote. It's happening next week. We have a lot of seats, like these little, up until my in my mid-20s, I didn't know that these little moments in between presidential elections were just as important than the presidential election, right? These are even actually more important. And so like we have to do the work as a community to educate our youth on political literacy. It's just not there. It's not there at all. And like, whoop, another meme.
No, that's just third period.
Third period. You go crazy.
Third period.
Yo, is it? And then you think about like all the like Latinx folks that voted out of their interest. It's like we are separating ourselves when we are already fragmented. And that's where it's like the hyper focus on diversity. Like, well, I'm not that. But like nobody's anything. Like even when you think about, like, let's talk about the white community. You have the people in power are so different from the folks that voted for them that they have more in common with poor Black folks than anything. But they're still a community, right? It's us and y'all, right? No matter what they look like. But we're still sitting here like, no. It's like, we got to get it together. There's really just two classes. It's really not about diversity of like color or ethnicity or culture. It's really about class. It's really a socio-economic division that's happening. That if you look at that, we are all in this bracket together. We have a lot more in common than folks in this bracket or this bracket.
You gotta listen to him. You learn something.
You learn a thing or two.
Yeah, listen to her. You learn something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shit.
It's a deep conversation, Cuzzo.
No, that's real. I'm like, shit. Do we go further? Do we go further down the rabbit hole? But I also want to know, how did you get into the work, right? Because, like you said, you saw the differences. You saw when you went to the school. You know, there's a different lifestyle. You got exposed to different things, and so now you're seeing this, and you're like, what's step one, right, to go on your career path? Like, what was that step looking like? Because most people don't say, chief diversity officer.
Yeah, it was a very interesting journey, and I think that most people that have really good careers, it does not look like this. It does not look like, and then we did this. It's more like all over the place, then back and go. And like, I started off with one goal, and that was to not be poor. Like that was my 100 course. I knew that I wanted to make money. Like I was almost really like, obsessed with just climbing out of that and establishing my own. So I moved out at 18. I went to college, and 2 years into college, I was like, this ain't for me, because I'm paying you to teach me or grade me on something. And for what? Like, it was just not clicking to me. Like, I just did not have an enjoyable college experience. And so I remember like wanting to work, and I got my first job on Wall Street at 19 years old, and through a temp agency. And so I just wanted to make money. So I'm sitting here like, I can make $30 an hour. I'm going to make $30 an hour. That comes to 60 grand. That was the most money. I was making more money than my mom at 19. I come from the school of hard knocks. So I was like, oh, I'm going to figure out how to make this work. And I remember my first job was at JP Morgan Cazenove, and I was in the mailroom, right? So I went from straight, I didn't, again, I had friends that were doing internships, and I was like, I just wasn't with it. I went right to the mailroom, and I am very visually inclined. I wanted, I had a career in marketing for almost 20 years, and I'm very much around storytelling and visuals and creative. And I was in the mailroom one day, and there was a book, like, this is how old I am. When you used to go to clients, you used to have to go with these giant PowerPoint printouts and then decks, right? And the salespeople will go and they'll go to their client and like, look at my deck. Like, it's like, in high school, I'm like, what were they doing with all these papers? Just killing trees, just murdering.
To a deck is nuts nowadays. Now you think about it, that's nuts.
Nobody prints anymore. Like, they really imagine. So, and then they would freak out, because if you printed the deck and it was like slightly off the line, or there was a typo, you screw, because you just got 40 books, right? And it has like one typo on page 37. And now the client doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Like, it was that crazy on Wall Street back then. So I remember, like, I'm a naturally like curious person, and my mother would say that I'm just quite nosy, to be honest with you, and I probably am. Definitely my kids inherited it. I remember delivering a box of presentations, and I went through it because I wanted to see what is it that they're, what is this? Why are they printing this? And I couldn't understand it. It was just literally financial jargon and research, economic research. And I just remember being able to easily see that things were like misaligned. The color schemes were off. The spacing was gross. And I'm like, I went to the marketing person that I delivered the books to, and I'm like, you got typos in this. And they freaked out. And I was like, I can fix it for you. And so I was quickly fired from the mailroom and hired as a marketing coordinator at 19 years old. And I just really learned on the go. I was on the road. I was literally on a roadshow desk where we would fly economists in around the world with the research that I was helping to format and produce. And then I would just slowly start to ask for, I could do this. And then I stopped asking. I would just take agency. And I think that's the thing that I've always had throughout anything that I do is I don't ask for permission at all. There's a way to do it. I ask for collaboration. So I'm not going to go behind your back. I'm not going to make one up you, make you look bad, make you feel like you're in, a blind spot. But I am going to say, here's what I'd like to do. Here's what I started. How can we make this even better? How can we partner on this? And so I spent 20 years climbing the ladders throughout marketing. I went to PR. I was in a design studio. I landed all over investment banking. My last non-diversity title was Vice President of Digital Marketing and Advertising at BNP Paribas.
Wow.
When I got, that's like the second highest level you can get to.
Major.
And again, I could see around the corner and I could see that like we were upping our efforts on, now this is right when people started talking about diversity hiring and they were like, oh, we need to go to Hampton and Howard and get all these folks. And they were sending these people down there with a box of cookies. I'm like, you're not going to Howard with a box of cookies and saying work at our bank. And nobody.
Fresh baked with a chocolate chip.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm impartial to macadamia, white chocolate macadamia. You might send me over with some good white chocolate macadamia. I ain't gonna hold
a fresh baked tip on the school lunch bag.
You were an easy sell, easy mark. Got you with a cookie when people were going down there with marching bands. Nah, like we were showing up wrong. We played ourselves.
Marching bands.
I went one time because they were having zero luck. So I went down there and they had us in a hallway and like literally white men in suits with cookies, like come to our information session, please. And we were in the wrong building. I think they put us in like the School of Performing Arts and we're a financial services company. So I'm like, hold on. Let me finesse this. Got us to the right school. Got us in the right space. But the people were coming up to me and they were like, you work in finance? Because again, this is how I am. I show up like this 100% all the time. I really, truly feel like authenticity is a superpower. If I am fully myself, I give other people permission to be fully themselves. And then we can be celebrated and educated and smart and still be ourselves. Like we don't have to fully acclimate to other cultures. So I'm there talking to students. I get everybody in the room and they don't want to hear from these folks. They want to hear from me. What's it like to work there? Really? And I'm like, y'all deserve to be here too. There's no reason why we're not doing rocket science or brain surgery. There's no it's finance. That opportunity should be open to everyone. And when I realized how much it wasn't, even though I climbed through it myself, it was like an aha moment for me where it's like, damn, it's time to switch gears. It's time to figure out how to open the door for other folks. I was so focused on my own career and my own pathway that I realized we're just leaving. I'm not leaving any breadcrumbs so folks can find and follow. And we got to change that. And so that's when I started to pivot my career from marketing communications into this space because it needs it. Now I know how to sell a story. I know how to make it understandable for folks. And I'm using my powers for good versus selling products and selling ads, right? And now I'm selling behavior change. Now I'm selling why it matters and how we need to collaborate as a company and what corporate responsibility actually looks like when it comes to inclusion and diversity topics.
Yeah. I ain't gonna hold you though. From where we are normally raised, because we both from the PJs,
Mm-hmm.
from the Bronx. So,
Big Bronx.
we don't see, not the little one, not the little one. We don't get to see enough of us in these positions. You understand what I'm saying? That's the problem, because even if you've made it and you were one of the fortunate ones to make it to a college in general, never mind a HBCU, a college in general, you don't know what to expect, because your life experiences are showing you that most people where we come from don't work in certain fields. And if they do, they're extremely low level, mailroom, secretary, things of that nature, right? So when somebody out the blue shows up, hey, this is what I do, they're gonna look at you like, are you serious? Are you for real? You know, it's a shock to the system. And I think that's, again, let's talk about the problem within that, because once again, the college itself, look at what you said, the college itself didn't even do its due diligence to say, what do you do? Okay, this is where you need to be, XYZ. Look at the story you said. They put you in the wrong building. That is a message in itself.
Message.
That's a message in itself, that the college and the administrators or whoever handled the negotiation, or the communication with your company, didn't even take the time to put you exactly where you needed to be, or ensure that you were set up properly for success. Once again, you're starting how many steps behind?
Yep. Yeah. And they would have never, like, blessings to my ex-colleagues. It's just, would they have even thought to say, hey, are we in the right space? Right? Like, because I'm just here to hand out these cookies.
They could have thought that nobody was interested in this. This is why we don't do that. And that's the information that goes back to the organization.
Yeah, it is.
And
now we don't come back next year.
Exactly. And it's like,
yeah, it is.
And also when it comes to this very human work, and it's probably going to ruffle a few feathers. Like, yes, this is values-driven work. This is identity work. It still has to make sense. It still is a business strategy. It still has to have KPI. It still has to have metrics. It still has to have a return on investment. And we're hoping that return on investment is that the more folks we have in the building that don't look like each other, the better ideas we're going to have, because that creates tension, that creates innovation, and that creates opportunities that we wouldn't think about if everybody else thought the same way. So a lot of diversity programs do not have the right KPI metrics, numbers to support the work. People out on the street don't understand what these programs are responsible for, how to measure success. So then it becomes a scapegoat. And here we are right now.
Yep. But we've had this conversation though, says, what is that KPI? We've had several chief diversity and inclusion officers here, major brands, and we ask that same question. So I'm just curious, what's your perspective? If you get in that role, what should your KPI be? How should you be judging your own success in that role?
Absolutely. How are our people functioning?
Boom. Okay. With you.
How, and there's real clear defined KPIs, but before I go into that, I'd like to talk about the actual role of corporate diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
Let's do it.
When we think about this topic, there's like three fundamental pillars of this work. One is education, and that's educating the masses, universities and schools around what actually happened in the country, a history of the country, how it was founded, how there was many nations and people that have been inhumanely treated through colonialization. And that's the foundation, so that we all know, hey, we have to do better. And it also gives us a self-check to say, well, I don't have to question the rules of this country because they were created during a time that doesn't apply to the people, or that doesn't reflect the people and values that we are right now. Right. So it gives you that critical thinking. So that is one pillar. That's education. That's currently that is being crushed right now by the government. Crushed. Then you have the governmental pillar. That's to keep people safe. That's to say, hey, we're going to let you vote regardless of what you look like, what gender you are. We're going to let you own property regardless of what you look like, what gender you are. We're going to let you get married regardless of what you look like and your gender, right? So that is the governing body where we have to have a foundation of diversity and inclusion. We have to have equity, right? We have to have access. We're going to give the people access, because when the country was founded, access was not given to all people. So that is a huge pillar of our government. They're supposed to be protecting that. They're rolling that back. So when you think about corporate, right? Now, yes, there is a faction of corporate diversity and inclusion that focuses on representation because we know that the access wasn't always there. We know that if we're not being intentional around cultivating executive level talent of women, of people of color, that the status quo will continue to repeat itself. People will continue to hire the folks that make them comfortable, and those folks are like them. Whether it's they went to the same university, whether it's the same affinity, people hire and want to be around people who are like them, right? And that even is diverse in itself. So yes, that was a faction, right, of corporate diversity and inclusion programs. But where we are now and what the corporations, what their responsibility for me is, this is the third and final pillar. This is why the government's attacking it, because what each company is like its own country. And they can say, regardless of what the government says, I'm going to acknowledge you and all your pronouns. And regardless of what the government says, I'm going to give you health benefits.
Yeah.
And regardless of what the government says, I'm going to ensure that you're treated properly and that you are treated in a space where people can't discriminate against you or speak to you in a certain way. And so, like, when the government fails us, corporations have an obligation to step up and protect their people. Now, I'm a gay woman, so there's countries that if I travel to, it's illegal for me to exist, right? And if I go in that company, I could be Jenni, right? And I could be head of the Pride chapter, and I can be as queer as I want to be in that company because that company made it safe for me to be me. And when you think about where we are, like, people think the United States is like, this is everything. No, it's not. There's so many countries that, like, women are dying, right? People are getting killed for just being the way that they're born. And like, those companies there, they can protect those employees. At least they're safe at those companies. And so when we talk about KPI and we talk about metrics, my first KPI metric is, how are our people doing? Are they okay? Do they have the benefits that they need? Do they have the mental resources that they need? Do they feel safe at work? Do they know how to engage and collaborate at work? Because it is a collaboration to be able to listen. To be able to talk to somebody so different from you and have different beliefs, but at work y'all respect each other and y'all can get work done. That's a skill, and that's not a soft skill. That's a hard skill. And you think about leaders that are like the new leaders that are coming up, and they're young, and they now have really big remits where they're managing global teams. They're managing multi-generational, multicultural, global teams. How are they connecting with these employees to help motivate them to get a thing done? Not only motivate them, but let those employees feel safe enough to say, I disagree. I think we should do it this way, because that's the superpower. When you have a difference of opinion and you can navigate it. So most people are like, oh, inclusion is around how well we work together. For me, inclusion is around how well we disagree. How well can we be in the same room, have different opinions, and still walk away respecting each other, but coming up with something better because we are able to bring all of that together for a project.
Yeah.
That's it for me. And I practice what I preach. I had a podcast for almost 10 years called Two Chicks, One Mic. My co-host was a staunch Republican.
Right.
Yeah.
Staunch. We would have the craziest conversations on air. And we would close the book down and we'd be friends right after. Like, all right, let's go get a drink.
Yeah.
Because we're humans first. Like, all that other stuff is a good conversation. But when it comes down to it, we're humans first.
That's
so how do we get through this instead of letting it divide us? But how do we get through this together?
Yeah. The only thing I want to add to that is we talked about KPIs, but let's talk about ROI, which is extremely important. You know, the reason these companies aren't doing these things is because they don't see the ROI. Ladies and gentlemen that's joining us that don't know what ROI is, return on investment. Return on the investment, right? It's what you're putting in versus what you're getting back. If these companies sat down and started being humans and said, hey, if our workers felt better, maybe they would work better. If our workers felt like they belong and wanted to come to work instead of, God damn it, I got to go punch this goddamn clock again, maybe they would do more than what we're asking them to do without having to pay. See, that's the problem. The problem is they don't see the ROI in providing that space because they're not looking at us, most corporations, as individuals, as human beings. They're looking at us as a number. We have a certain amount of employees, these amount in this accounting business, and this, this section all has a certain amount of employees, and we're all replaceable. As long as they keep looking at it like that, we're gonna be hard pressed to ever get them to enact true change, not change when they see, like you said, a milestone event that they want to bandwagon or champion in that moment because it's politically correct or socially correct, but true change when they go, you know what? This is a company for the people, by the people, and we're going to treat our people like people, and let's see what that produces. Until we get that mindset, then I think we're going to be stuck in the
change that mindset when collaborative work has no attribution.
That's
collaborative work has no attribution. So
Right.
if you're 10 people, that's a diverse group. There's 2 Asians, there's 2 white people, there's 2 black people, there's this, that, different backgrounds, right? We come up with the Just Do It campaign, right? Depending on leadership, they can look at that however they want. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm in sales, right? Sales is a hard KPI. Jarrett either closed this deal or didn't close this deal. And even then you can still get screwed over.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And I love this conversation. It's probably my favorite part of the conversation when it comes to ROI on it and diversity and inclusion. And there's 2 ways we could look at it. But let's stick with the people side for a second. You're right. And companies know this. And that's why most of the companies that claim to have walked away from diversity and inclusion did not. They just changed the name of their team. 90% of companies changed the name of their team. Look it up to culture, to other stuff. But they know it's important because there's a theory called the brilliant asshole. Have you ever heard of that before?
I haven't. I haven't.
So
hold on. I feel like we're going into a new session. You know what I'm saying? Sound like fear. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn, Jenny.
Jenny. The era of the brilliant asshole is coming to an end. And when you think about it, it's like the profiles like the Kanye West, the Elon Musk, right? The people that are brilliant, but they leave a trail of dead bodies wherever they go because nobody can work with them. They're hard to deal with. They collaborate. You can't get nothing done because it's just their brilliance just takes over everything, but they have 0 people skills. And we're shifting away from that as a culture and society because of AI, right? So whereas like that genius was respected 10 years ago because that's rare and there's not everybody can do it. People can do that in 5 minutes on AI now, right? People can, and there's going to still be some new brilliant assholes. There's going to be brilliant assholes wherever, but there's going to be less brilliant assholes because of AI. Now we have all of this information and expertise at our fingertip. That's just not going to be looked at the same anymore. We're not going to want to work for Bob, who makes everybody feel like crap but has great numbers, because now we can get Ken, who's a little bit more mediocre, but now with AI is just as strategic as a Bob, right? So they have rebranded it because people are companies' biggest commodities. And the companies that treat employees like numbers, they lose at the end of the day. Every time you have to replace an employee, you know how much money
retention rate.
That's a KPI. Retention rate is a KPI because it costs twice as much as that salary to replace one employee. And they are bleeding. And so now we're going to be in a talent crunch because there's not a lot of folks that are AI native that really know how to navigate it. And that's why we're trying to upskill our workforce to do that. But like, people are going to be fighting over those profiles, and people want to work with people that work well with people. And that's just it. You can only tolerate a brilliant asshole for just a little bit before the company crumbles. Look at the trail of bodies behind the brilliant assholes. Look at those types of profiles, and you will see crumbled companies. You'll see money, but you will see devastated workforces, employees that are quitting. You will see turbulence. We don't got time for that anymore. Now, the other ROI is definitely related to revenue generation. And this is my favorite part because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a soft skill. No, it's not. Now, even though public sentiment around diversity and inclusion is going this way, consumer sentiment around inclusion and diversity is this way. We want products for our hair. We want to see people that look like us on the ad. We want tailored, customized experience based off our culture. We want to have Japanese skincare, Korean skincare. That is diversity and inclusion. We would not have known about Korean skincare if it wasn't for social media, but guess who uses it? Me and all your friends. right?
Message.
Or Beyonce's hair care line. Why would we only need a Dove or a Nexus, right? We consumers love diversity and inclusion. And guess why? It reflects us as humans to have more products and more options. Guess who's learning that lesson? Target.
Facts. Big time.
So when you have brands that have a diverse consumer base and you walk away from those values, you're going to see an impact to your bottom line. You're going to see a decline in sales. Now, my measurement too, and what I've decided, like what I've done to take our strategy, is that the things that I do, I try to tie it back to our customers. So we are honored and we are so privileged to be in a space where we work with entrepreneurs who are very diverse. So I always loop them back in. How can we create more entrepreneurs? How can we upskill the next generation? How can we train teens that they can run their own business? They don't always have to do this traditional linear path, but you can start your own business. And if you are a former convict and you are iced out of these corporate jobs and this job market, you're going to have to need the skills to start your own business and start something for yourself. And so like Square partners to help teach those skills. And so that's a hard KPI for me, because now I'm like, we trained and developed X number of diverse entrepreneurs. We are now able to track how much revenue that these folks are making. So now we know that they're making money for themselves, which in turn makes money for the company. And so I think that the new wave of like these types of programs, they do have to not only align with like a business need and a people need, but there has to be some connection to ROI and bottom line and sales, because at the end of the day, our consumers are diverse. We cannot walk away from saying we care about these things because we care about our customers.
Message.
Yeah, we're gonna get you a new meme. We're gonna get a new meme.
It's too many messages. It's too many messages.
I'm just saying, YouTube loves it. They go crazy. It drives them crazy.
If you don't know it's for anything, we be walking out of a message. You know
we was in Kansas. We was in Kansas, and they was like, message.
That's a fact.
Wake up from sleep tonight. Message. Yeah.
That's a fact. You know, you make solid points. You make absolutely solid points. You know, I just feel like in this time, people are so overloaded. Now let's talk about the overload of the average person now. Uncertainty on education, uncertainty on getting just a basic job. See, it's a celebration. Uncertainty with now Medicare, right? Getting proper just healthcare for yourself, right? Uncertainty for the parents that need proper childcare so that they can go to work. All these uncertainties. Now you want to add on the fact that food ain't what it used to be. Health, right? You understand? Now you want to add in political. Now you want to add in business. For the average person, it is an overload. For the average person, they're going to pick and choose their priorities and what's important to them and their interests in the moment. So these brown people that might have voted for who's in office right now didn't think about long term. They thought about, what is my bottom line right now? What is important to me right now? Because to think about all of these things and try to be active in all of these things, it can overload a person. Mm-hmm. It can overload you. And if you get overloaded, what you're going to do, and like you overload a computer, what does it do? It freezes, it shuts down. We shut down. Human beings will shut down, right? And then there's a theory, I forget the name of it, but it goes like this, and maybe you can tell me the name, but it's like, if you want to influence a person to do a thing, you don't talk to a person, you influence the masses, right? And this is why. Let's say there's 20 people, right? If you want to convince 2 people, you try to convince 20, because what happens is most people are going to be followers, right? They're not going to make a decision either way. They're going to wait to see what the general public decides to do and then does it, right? So this is what they're doing. They're mass influencing us to different things that are not productive to us. So by the time now everybody starts moving in a different direction, the people that are not strong enough to stand against it, they just go along. Mm-hmm. They go along, and then the people that do go against it is so far and few that you end up getting drowned out by the masses. right? So even though this is a democracy, if we're talking about this country being a democracy, even though it was founded as a republic, if you even understand democracy, that's extremely dangerous, because what that means is 51% of the people control 49% of the people. That's what democracy means. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, if more people say this is what we're doing, then the other people, the lesser people, will suffer from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact, though.
Yeah.
So it's a hard pill to swallow. Like, we love democracy, but if you think about what it is, the vote, we're losing to it.
I almost hit you with one.
That's we divided ourselves into these political factions that don't serve us. They don't serve us at all. And people are losing the plot line, where it's like, it is not Republican versus Democrat. It is the people versus politicians.
There we go.
They're losing the plot line.
There we
go. The great fatigue is what you're describing. People are just so uncertain where to start, what to do, where to go. There has to be a great awakening after this.
We're hoping.
Bottom of the barrel, you're gonna be so sick of it. Like, what do we got to do to fix this right now? Because there's only so much ignoring you can do, and social media has been a blessing and a curse when it comes to this. Like, a blessing for brown people to be able to share stories from non-traditional media outlets, and share our story and the things that are happening to us. But also, it is a great distraction. It's a great distraction, and it's a numbing mechanism and a source of misinformation. But the human nature has proven over and over again, something will crack. We will crack under the pressure. We will crack, we will learn, people are going to find their way, like, to this podcast right now in this moment, and find the information that they need to validate what's going on for themselves, because they know it's not right. They know what's going on right now. And like, we will get it together. I have to have that hope. I will. But it is a very, very tough, very exhausting period right now of, I'm just trying to survive. I went to go buy steak the other day. It was $30.
I'm telling you.
Are you out of your
loin?
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Pack of chicken wings is $27.
Right. I'm about to go from stew lettuce to Western beef.
When the Arizona can changes, that we are screwed, right? Like, with that,
it's real. They didn't reduce the can by 25% on us.
But my problem is, and we preach this all the time, we have faith in our people. That's why this show was created, for the people. Our biggest concern is when that crack happens. See, the problem is, if we wait too long to change, we're already fighting an uphill battle, but if we wait too long to change, then whatever change we're looking to, it's going to be 100x harder at that point. Because once you give up something, they're never giving it back, right? Once you give up something, we give up something to these politicians, we give up freedoms, we're never getting that back, right? They're going to use that against us. So if we wait too long to crack, to be like, nah, we're not standing for this, then it's almost going to be like, what are we fighting for that's left to actually get?
It's going to be the bigger fight.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear of the minority majority that's happening in 20 years?
No.
Talk about it and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Let me see if I might know it as something else.
All right. So again, this is just Jenny, right? This is speaking from me. It is a reality that, like, for all of the things that have been happening right now, that by 2050, we in our lifetimes would experience a minority majority. That means here in the US, all the brown people together would be the majority. Like, we would no longer be minorities.
Yeah.
Think about that being a fact, and you look at the mass deportation, the ban on abortion, the criminalization of diversity and inclusion. You have to wonder why those efforts are being made, because that's a real reality that some people are scared of. They want more white women to have babies, right? Look at the conversation that's happening. They banned abortion because white women have the most abortions. They banned it in most states because they want that population to start to grow again. They are deporting wrongfully people of color and minorities because they don't want them to count in the vote. They don't want them to count in that minority majority. So this is a systematic way to prevent that. But I don't want to say we have to wait it out. It's really being attacked right now. But that was our reality that we would have been looking forward to, that we would no longer be the minorities here in this country. And I think that there's an active effort to get that from happening. And we really have to be more educated about that and stop it and do what we can, like getting out to vote, but also educating each other on political savvy, educating each other on rights and what's happening right now and how we can come together and make a difference. Because that's still very unclear. What do we do?
What do we do?
What do we do?
That's wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
points.
It's happening. And I agree. Like I said, I knew about the majority minority, but I was just thinking about it in a different manner.
Yeah.
And we spoke about this on the show before, Cuzzo, about the same exact thing, right? Everything that these politicians do is for a reason. The problem is you're not paying attention to the long-term play. You're only focused on what's in front of your face, right? So like you said, right? The abortion, right? And they were no, they're not banning abortions in a lot of these states because they just angry that Black and brown people are having abortions. No, they realize that white women are having more abortions than anybody, which is now decreasing their population number. See, they know this, right? So when we talk about Project 2025 and all of these other things that talk about the New World Order, population control, right? Because that's a thing, population control, and talking about their plans for population control. If you talk about the agriculture, the state of agriculture with food now, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? With food now and farmers, and everything is a play for that, to get recontrol of what they see is happening. And the fear is once we become the majority instead of the minority, then we're going to do to you what you did to us. That's the fear.
Yeah.
That's the fear in real time. So, we have to try to all work together to, like you said, education is key. It's always been key. We have to try to educate and motivate each other, not only to get the knowledge, the information, but into action. You see, you know who that was, right? You know,
I was on mute.
Oh, no, I'm just saying though. You see, Jenny, when we start talking about that and you start hearing air pockets and stuff like that, you know who that is, right?
The man.
The man.
I know who it is. Look at it. He gave not twice.
No. Okay, I'll shut up. Powers that be.
Yeah. Let's get into the authorship. But Jenny, keep it real. So I do want to get into the book and things like that, your personal brand, all that stuff. What's one of the illest experiences that you've had in corporate America? So you work on Block, you're around some amazing people, you're around some smart minds. What's one story that you don't mind sharing? That was just
like kind of like a bad one, right? Hey, Street Doctor. That's like, we speak about, like you talked about, nonprofit organizations. Surprise the Struggling, that's the CEO and founder. We do a lot of giveaways and grab bags for homeless, and even for the storm, like collecting materials and getting out to people in need. So shout out to you, Dr. Wilson, from Surprise the Struggling. I saw that question and I was like, what do I want to share? Because I've had a lot of really wild moments. Like I almost wrote a book called like, did this really happen to me? Like it is like, I've been in a lot of spaces, but one thing that stands up to me as wild is like, I had the most toxic manager at one of the companies I worked at that really made me question my purpose. That made me question my value, my sanity. It was like a narcissistic leader. It took me some time to unpack it. I needed to experience that because we are going to encounter adversity from surprising places. And this was a Black woman, and I wanted to work for her so bad. I wanted to work for another Black woman leader in this field and understand how she navigated, all the way up to like the highest level at this top tier bank. And I was like, yes, this is it. I'm finally going to get it. And it was the exact opposite. And it was bad. It almost crushed me, but it also showed me the type of leader that I didn't want to be. And it also taught me boundaries about what the hell is it for me? Like, what am I going to say no to? Because a no is just as powerful as a yes. And I don't think I knew that at that point in my career, because I was so eager and hungry to achieve a thing and make a coin and to make a money. But not all money is good money. Not all spaces are good for you. And you have to learn how to navigate your boundaries and ensure that whatever you do is aligned with your purpose and your value. And sometimes when you don't have that, God will show you. God will create an experience for you to learn it the easy way or the hard way. I had to learn it the hard way, but it actually really gave me fortitude about why this work is necessary and how to look at it from like, oh, okay, Black folks are going to stick together. Like, it's not about that. It's about creating cultures where people can thrive and really understanding how to tie that to a business strategy, how to tie that to ROI. That was a lesson I needed to know. I'm thriving now in this space, and I absolutely am grateful for that experience, but it happens all the time. And I think I wanted to share this tonight because a lot of people of color probably are like, diversity and inclusion. Oh my God, my last job was so toxic, or I had a woman leader of color that was awful. Awful leaders come in all shapes and colors.
Talk to them.
All shapes and colors. They're awful. They're just awful. If you're going to be awful out there, you're going to be awful inside. We have to learn how to navigate that and when to say no and when to walk away from something that is not serving you. And so that was a really big pivotal career moment for me. So shout out to that asshole because right, like,
Jenny's being politically correct, but we don't have to be. So what she really went to say about you is,
I never liked you anyway, pretty motherfucker.
It was the light-skinned motherfucker. It was a Doob Akbar.
Akbar. I don't like you anyway. Never liked you anyway.
That's stupid.
Oh yeah, we got moments like that. Like, it's still work, it's transactional, it's still a job. People get caught up in this stuff. Like, it's hard right now, but when you say yes to you, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. I say yes to you.
So you gave us a bad. What's a good thing? What's one thing that you would hang your hat on your career that made you proud to feel like this work was meaningful?
Oh my God. So there's, again, I've been really blessed, but just recently this year, we were able to partner with an organization called InvestFest, and Earn Your Leisure crew.
Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I really kind of got into my bag, and I was able to leverage all my skills to say, hey, we need to invest in this as a company. And I did so in a way that got all the products together, and I didn't have to spend $1 from like the I&D side. It was like, it really showed the value of what inclusion and diversity can bring to the organization. I had the connection. I was able to get the company committed, and Jack Dorsey himself was able to keynote. He has not said yes to anything.
I want a keynote off the plug.
Love it.
Got a keynote out of Jack. So that, when you are mission aligned and you understand the purpose and value, you're able to communicate that. You can get anybody bought into that. And I got him bought in because it makes sense. This is an organization that their cornerstone is economic empowerment and financial literacy. And that's exactly our cornerstone. So sometimes it just takes having the right conversation and connecting those dots in a meaningful way. And again, I don't ask for permission. I ask for collaboration. And so
what that pitch like? You pitching Jack Dorsey, founder. What is that? What is that like? I know you like, damn, if I don't like, because it's a lot of pressure. If I don't get this right, we show up in a good way. If I do get this right, if I don't show up, what other asks can we make? You know what I'm trying to say? Sometimes you get one ask. So what is that pitch like?
I promise you, it never even occurred to me that he would say no. In my mind, it was already done. And I had the yes in my mind, and I wrote back from the yes. Like, it wasn't like, would you, could you? It's like, you are going to miss an incredible opportunity if you're not here. This is this is a brand impact moment. This is the first time we're showing up with all of our products. This is the conversation we need to be a part of. This is the date we need you available. Like, it was never a no. Like, I don't like yes or no. I don't like those odds. I don't like having a 50-50 chance of anything. So in my mind, it's always yes. No is never an answer for me. And so I walked back from the yes, because that's exactly what we were going to do. and then I just claimed it. Like I could feel it in my bones. So I always try to lead that way. And like when we have roadblocks or ways to get around it, we already know it's a yes. We just have to figure out how we get there. How's the string in there? You know, and that's just my leadership philosophy.
Message.
Because you share that same philosophy, because you just go about it in a different manner. But I would be remiss to say that you don't.
I wish you gonna dunk that thing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But Jenni, Jarrett does the same thing. A lot of times, you know, when we're reaching out to people and stuff like that, like he says on the show multiple times, you don't know how many times it took to reach out to get this yes. But I'm not, you know, okay, not today. Okay, I'm gonna reach out tomorrow. Give you another text next week, and eventually we're gonna get the yes. So you operate almost in the same manner, Jarrett. Just you might just think about it a little differently. You know what I'm saying?
I just like the only thing that's different when you said like I'm not taking no from an answer. I've had to take no, and there's like, what do you do after the no when you do get the no? So my strategy differs from that point. So when I do get the no, it's how long are you willing to persevere to end up getting your yes. We got to get what we got to get.
See, even for me, that's not a no. It's like a not yet.
It's next opportunity. Okay, not yet. Next one. Next one. Some people drop off on 1 or 2 though, sis. You know this.
Yeah, I do. I still look at those as wins too. Like it all at the end of the day unveils itself to say, oh, that wasn't it for me. That was a misalignment. Because we're looking at it from our perspective when there's bigger perspectives at play that are looking out for you. So like sometimes even that no is a yes, because it's like you say yes, you said no to me, that opened a yes for something else. But I get you, like in sales, like there is hard no's, there's hard yeses. I always look at everything as a not yet. We could pick this conversation back up when I have more data, or we can show you this win or come back and boomerang to show you how it played out for this other company. And we would love to have you a part of that next conversation. Like it's always like, you know, if we gotta put it on simmer or we gotta go full on, but it's never off. It's never off. Like, you know, yeah.
That's the real. But think about all the things it took to get you to that point where you get to that final yes with Jack Dorsey, right? Look of all the things. You might have went to a cocktail reception. You might have went over here. You might have had a coffee chat with this person that led to this, that led to that, to you make the bet. Like it's the journey. I love that aspect of it. Going off of a limb.
It was, but also, like for me, that's where I'm able to pull up from my marketing and like sales bag, and it's like we're gonna cultivate it here, and and that's a lot of things. People try to push agendas on you, like even with the diversity and inclusion agenda, like you know how many people I have to talk to that think it's hocus pocus or like too fluffy or whatever. You have to speak their language. You have to know what countries you're going to and speak the language of that country. You have to do research on them. You have to understand what's important to them and bring them opportunities that are aligned with their goals and their purpose. And I can make inclusion and diversity align with anything. So I'm like, even look, there could be an alien invasion tomorrow. I will be the chief human interpreting officer. Okay, I will be right up there about human inclusion, aliens, and collaboration.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I never heard nothing like that. Was real.
I will make it work.
40 episodes, we never heard no shit.
Savage.
I'm telling you, there's no in my mind. So it's like, and we're gonna figure it out. And it's always gonna be connected because at the end of the day, we're human. There's fundamental things we need to do. Collaborating together is one of them. Our best is when we work together and when we empower other people. That's the best version of us. So like, I want to see everybody bring that out and educate and uplift each other. So I'm just going to figure out a way to make it happen. It's never no for me.
How did you navigate the personal brand and working with a spot like Block?
Oh my goodness.
Like, do they support the personal brand? You coming up with books, you're doing this? Like, are they like, yo, we're going to put some marketing? Like, how did you navigate both?
Okay. This is the Lord's work here, because my second book is called Jenni from the Block to the Boardroom, and that was always the title even before I got this job. I wanted to teach others how to navigate from whatever circumstances they're in into these spaces because they belong there too. And you know, I feel like street smarts are just as important as college credentials. In fact, even more so, resilience and ingenuity and like being able to like be agile and fast and think fast. That's a critical skill set. You don't get that at school. So I want people to be able to speak to that. After I had that really, really awful manager and I had to unpack what that meant for me, what I was doing, how I wasn't showing up. One thing I wasn't showing up was my truth and my authenticity. And that is a superpower for me. I don't believe in code switching, but I also don't think code switching is bad either. But I don't believe in cultural code switching. So this is the Jenni that the organizations are going to get, the Jenni that the clients are going to get, the Jenni that's on stage speaking on behalf of the company. It's just me. And authenticity leads to relatability. It leads to longer relationships. And it also leads to breaking stereotypes, because now I don't have to pretend to be or talk a certain way for you to understand that I am just as smart or smarter than you. We can still have a grounding conversation where I drop a, oh, that's dope. Okay. And let me put you on some game, and you still respect me as a person. And now that may break the stereotype that you have about what it's like to work with people of color or Black women or someone that grew up the way I grew up. And so leaning into my authentic brand is really what helps me unlock and relate to so many people, because I'm just me, and it gives you permission to be just you. And now we have more common ground. So I'm very blessed to be in a space, I think, that recognizes that our zone of genius operates better when we are being authentic to ourselves. I don't want to do that whole bring your best self to work thing. You don't want to see my full self at work, okay? I'm like, but you want my best self, right? Like, you want my best self, and I want your best self too. So let's just call a spade a spade. But I am able to be me. And that gives me more time to think of the next innovative idea, to see around corners, to lean into people and say, are you okay? What do you need? How can I support you? That's energy I don't have to spend on worrying about how I'm showing up, or if I'm speaking the right way, or if I'm being the person that they want. It's like, no, this is me. We're going to work together. I respect you as a human, and vice versa. I love that. I think that, again, I've really seen an unlock for me, and I see what happened when I wasn't operating in that zone. So it has been awesome to be at work and be Jenni from the block, and also be at block, and know that, like, I can say, hey, I started from humble beginnings, but so did our customers. And we want more of these folks in our doors, right? We want more of these profiles.
Message.
And that's a fact.
Jenni working that block is fire.
I asked for a better. I'm like, come on, you got to pay for it. At least I pay for publishing.
The only thing I want to add to that is, I think the natural evolution of this diversity thing is really to just think about, if there was no diversity, would you still be doing a thing? Right? If there was no program called diversity, would you still be doing the thing? And I'll give you an example, right? Like, I did construction for 20 years. The last, let's say 10 years, I've been a supervisor, such and such. There was no diversity program when we were doing what I was doing, but when I was in charge, but believe my crew looked like me. Mm-hmm. You understand? So it's a mindset. Like, let's not get caught up in the words. So we having all these conversations about the word, but let's have more conversations about the total mindset of the thing, of when you get into a room and you're fortunate enough to get a seat at the table, et cetera, what are you doing to provide other opportunities to bring people up? That's the bigger conversation in general. You can, because you can call it cultural this, call it diverse. You can make up any acronym you want, but it's the mindset behind it. Because if the acronym is gone, but the mindset remains, like you said, they changed the name of the team, but the mindset remains, the team still remains, the work still gets done. So if you remove the name, but the mindset remains, you're good. But if you remove the name and there is no mindset that was backing it anyway, then you have the full crumble, because now nobody knows what to do, because nobody was truly doing the work anyway. And this is why early education on not only get a job, get a career, blah, 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 but fit in a place where you could make change. What does change look like? Change should be allowing you to do what you need to do, help the company get their bottom line, but also helping your people and giving them a step up, right? So the next person that comes, because life is a circle, you'll eventually elevate, and there are people that are going to come behind you. What are you doing for the next person that's going to fill your seat? What are we doing? And I think that's the conversation that we're missing, because everybody's, when I tell you about the masses, diversity, DEI, everybody's so stuck on DEI that you're forgetting it's only a word.
Yeah.
What about the mindset? And that's what I think we need to have more conversations with, because if we start having more conversations like that, if we start holding each other accountable, there's another thing, accountability, right?
Yep.
You said you're gonna do a thing. We met at Black Week. Me and Cuzzo, most of the time we met people at Black Week, we say, if we meet you next year and we're not doing something different, we're gonna go crazy. Because I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing because we're in the same spot. We didn't do anything. What was the purpose of this? Then this was just a big, expensive ass lunch, right? We're not doing that. So it's accountability, right? It's teaching each other what we need to do, and you can do it in different ways, right? It doesn't have to look the same, but the goal, what is the end goal? And if the end goal is the betterment of our people and people in general, then you start to change the mindset. You change the mindset, you ultimately will change the outcome.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more with what you said. Like I'm baby clapping over here. I absolutely love it. To lean in on a few points. The word just chirps people up, like you said. And when I encounter people that have a problem with DEI, my first question to them is, well, what do you have a problem with?
Right there. Let's talk about it, right?
Like, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's just like we're wearing glasses. Equity, you have a problem with people getting access to things, or inclusion, you have a problem with people. What do you have a problem with?
There we go.
But and that's when people get tripped up, because when you say like diversity or DEI, that's a scapegoat. But really, what are we talking about? Let's break it down. What your problem is, and like to answer your other point about what will I do if this work goes away? It really can't go away. But if it did, and I'm not the chief human alien officer, right, of inclusion, I just did. I was just in London a week ago. I was on stage at UK Black Business Week talking about AI.
Okay.
When you think about AI, you're like, what the hell does that have to do with inclusion and diversity? It's really about information to bring people along. So the stat is that outside of the Asian community, Blacks are the highest consumers of AI, but only 3% of the builders in it. So what does that create? Another generation of consumers. And we are living through the biggest wealth bubble in our lifetime. The same way that there was a internet bubble. We're living in a time right now where we have the opportunity to make the most wealth we've ever been able to make. But if we're only on the consumer side of AI and not on the architect or building side of AI, then we're going to be left out of this wealth gap as well. Absolutely. So my platform is all about how do we create more financial empowerment and access? Because you know how we grew up, and you could look different. You could be someone who's not Black, and we grew up the same. I want you to win too. So how do we get our people skilled up in AI enough that they're building on it, making money off of it before we get left behind? So that's where I was having these types of conversations. The future of work. There's going to be a world where you're not going to be able to get a job unless you show that you are competent in AI. And that's going to happen within the next 10 years. So then what? And that's for everything. And did you also know that as blue collar starts to embrace AI, those jobs are going to be paying less, but the hard skills, the technical skills, the construction jobs, plumbing, all the things you cannot train a robot to do are going to make so much money over the next 10 years. That is going to be the next wave of millionaires. It's going to be trade, hard skills, things that you cannot replace with AI. Those jobs are going to start to be in demand, and we have a big gap. These kids, this generation was just told, go to college, go to college, go to college. They don't know how to change a tire. They don't know how to fix something. So there's a gap where people are going to make a lot of money if they can get into these trades. And so like just bringing that information to our folks is enough for me. Okay. It's enough for me. Whether you want to call it DEI, AI, workforce of the future, I want us to win together. I want us to know there's opportunities out there. You absolutely deserve to be a part of this opportunity. Here's what you need to do to get there.
That's real. But that shit sound like it's aligned with the brand like a mug. Why not be the person that's doing that for the brand and for yourself?
I do talk about that. I was just talking about that at last week at UK Black Business Week.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do they creating your own platform, like stuff like that? Like you come to like my neighborhood, We don't see none of stuff like that. We don't talk about financial literacy. We are the ones that's doing it. So when I go out there and when I got to go get some eggs, I got to have a conversation with somebody. We got to do this. But imagine we bringing people like you to the block that are so our young queens, our young kings and stuff like that. We need this. So, but it'd be nice if we had the backing of the brand. Like, so I just wonder if they like, if it's only in the conferences in the streets, like, how does that look?
Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot. Like, I can't take all the credit. We have a huge social impact team. We partner with local organizations, chambers of commerce. We bring this information to the people where they are. Again, there's an information divide. A lot of folks know about these things. We just launched a grant a few months ago, and it was giving like entrepreneurs like access to $30,000 free.
I never got that link.
Right.
Hold on, Jenny. I didn't get the link. Jenny, is it closed?
It was a 404.
Is it closed, Jenny? I didn't get the link.
We launched that at InvestFest, but here's some free game for your listeners and for yourselves. There are grants that are sitting in chambers of commerce that are sitting around, and governments, like companies, get ridiculous tax cuts to donate money to these grants, and nobody knows about them, and they're not getting applied, and they just get sitting in a bucket. So do some research about grants for whatever it is that you are interested or passionate about. And now you have AI. The grant writing process was so long and so tedious and so intimidating that so many people, women, men, young entrepreneurs would never submit grants. But now you have AI assisted grant programs. You can get your story out there. You just have to know your story. You have to know your audience. You have to know what you're trying to achieve with the grant, and you have to make that crystal clear. But I want you all, if you walk away with anything, do grant research. There's money sitting out there for you to help fund your business and your dream and your idea that you don't have to pay back. You just have to show, here's what I'm going to do with it.
Okay, before we go any further, here's a disclaimer. For all our listeners, once again, we talked about what are you going to do when you're in the room and your responsibility, right? So let's start also taking responsibility. There's grants out there for people that want to do the right thing. Please don't be the person that goes out there forging the paperwork, creating fake companies and things of that nature just to get the money because you know you can't pay it back, doing some type of fucking scam or something like that. Because yes, you might profit in the moment. No, you might not get caught in the moment, but what you're really doing is jeopardizing that program for anybody else that comes behind you. Again, we talk about selfishness. We can't keep doing selfish shit to hurt each other and then wonder why collectively we can't come together and develop something, right? So if you're gonna do this, you know, do it legit, you know, get some help, but please don't try to look at this as the next scam, because it's always a couple people, you know, to ruin it for the many, right? Please.
I know. The PPP scamming and loaning.
Yeah.
I missed that whole wave. I was like, where was I? Where was I during COVID that I missed this entire scam wave opportunity? But
nope.
Yeah, grants are a bit more meticulous than what they were doing back then. And they really do their due diligence. It takes a while to get a grant, but for that very reason. But thank you for that disclaimer, because you know, scammers gonna scam, and there's scammers everywhere. We have one in the office right now. In the presidential office.
I was about to say in your office.
Oh yeah, we have a scammer.
Is that the other Jeff?
I was like, goddamn Jeff.
Goddamn Jeff. See, the other Jeff. We knew it was something fishy about you, homie.
You shouldn't hide two Jeffs. What's wrong with you?
No, absolutely, man. You know, I want to say this also, before we get away from this topic. We created this platform for people that are doing exactly what you're doing, in companies that want to reach our audience, right? So before we go any further, you know, I want to let you know, if you have any type of information, it doesn't matter if you're scheduled to come on a show or not. We will just have a segment to have you come on and give out this type of information, right? We will create this segment, right? Because it is that important. So if you have any type of information that you feel like the public needs, you let us know. We'll schedule something. Even if we have to create a show around that, this is what needs to be done, because we have to, again, counteract the masses. We have to counteract all of the noise and start giving out valuable information consistently enough to start influencing the masses, right? So that they start saying, nah, we're not going for this bullshit because we can get the real over here. So I just wanted to extend that to you. Any, we need you, and we need you to continue doing the work that you're doing, and your company to keep doing the work that they're doing, because, without it, we're in a bad spot. Yeah. It's not enough. It's not enough of us doing the work. So I want to give you your flowers. We appreciate you. You know what I mean? I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you. And I'll give you your flowers right back for having a platform to help connect and educate and uplift and empower everyone that tunes in. That's no easy feat. I was podcasting when it was not cool and it wasn't easy to get where we had. So you have a great platform. You obviously have an audience that's tuned in. Keep doing the good work of getting the information out there. It's going to get in the hands that it needs to.
Right.
That's real.
All right, so let's lighten it up a little bit. All right, because you're doing a lot of things over there. You diversity officer for aliens, and you're gonna be first contact representative and all that. You're working at all these places. You're in the UK, but what does Jenni do to relax? Because that's also a very important part of success. It's not just the work. What is Jenni doing to take care of her mental and her spiritual part to allow her to do all of these things? Not only frequently, but with the energy and the emphasis that you do it with.
I am still at the very beginning of my little self-help,
Oh no!
So listen, because I think we can do better. I think I live in this like driven, high performance mode, and sometimes you feel really guilty when you take time off or you rest, and like it's come to me where it's like these are essential. Like your body is finite, right? We only have how many summers in this place, and then we don't even know if that's going to get cut short. So I really try to lean into being present. So like right now I'm present with you. When I clock out, I'm going to be with my kids and we're going to bake something. And then I travel a lot, right? I travel a lot, and I really try to just unplug and be present and be in the moment, and just really like, it's like almost now a forgotten skill because everybody's glued to their phones, and we didn't have phones growing up. We were outside in the wilderness surviving, right? All day from sun up to the lights came on. I want to bring that back. I want to bring in some unstructured time back. So when I'm not traveling and I'm not with my kids, I'm working on my second, finishing the edits for the second book, and really just trying to create. This sounds cliche. I love cooking. I just started to cook.
So we love cooking.
I love it. It's like my creative
lamb chops right now.
That's a fact.
Right after this, they said, what?
I just started my cooking journey maybe 3-4 years ago.
Right.
My partner was like, I was like, I don't cook. She was like, you don't cook well. I'm like, I don't cook. Like, we can fix that.
I like that.
So I'm like, okay, but it is a creative outlet for me. Like I'm the one with the like this and this, like putting on a little cilantro on the top. I love, like, again, I told you I'm very creative. Like this is what started me on my whole journey. Like visually, like I love designing. I love creating experiences, creating food, because ultimately, like when I create, I bring people together in love. And that's my thing. Like, I love having the gatherings. I want people to come over. I want to cook for you. I want to talk to your kids. I want us to eat dinner at a table and have conversation and connect with each other. So that's my form of self-care, is really getting those moments of connection with the folks I love, and creating experiences with the ones that I love.
And we want to support you. And the way we're going to support you is you can cook for us. The more than the Tidal family will come over. You understand? We will come hungry.
The chops.
There's no chops over here. I love lamb chops.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Exactly. You know what I mean? We got a Friendsgiving or something. You
have to have a Friendsgiving episode.
Yo,
we were talking about
I just brought it up the other day. I swear
he was talking about it.
Dude, in the studio, everybody brings their stuff. You have a live audience.
We were talking about that.
We could do that.
I
do want to ask you a selfish question. I'm curious, because when we met, we were up there and we told the story on the show, like with the when Don Lemon was there and all that stuff. What was your first, like, just thought of us? I'm just curious of us when Alana was like, yo, talk to them, because you was like, yo, talk to them, all that. But being who you are and the stature and all that stuff and the position you're in, what was your initial reaction of us? Just curious.
I am, again, a very naturally curious person. So one, I love Alana. If she tells me I have to meet someone, I take that very serious. But if she didn't, I already peeped y'all. Y'all was already like had a line of people hugging you and doing this. And I'm like, oh,
We ain't gonna say it no more. We'll say it no more.
Who are these dudes over here? Got a line of people. What's up? Oh my god! Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. I thought you were like journalists, and you are. I had literally thought, okay, they're media and journalists. They're doing something. They're interviewing somebody, something. So I was really on brand with that. But I will say this. I've been in so many rooms and spaces, and like, unfortunately, you have bad actors, you have great actors. You get in these spaces sometimes with men in these spaces, and they are so cocky and so like, who are you? Why are you here? Like that energy, they don't want to talk to anyone. I did not get any of those vibes from you. You're so like personable, welcoming, and just like tuned in and dialed in, right? It was like an instant fam. Like it was all good, positive co-creation energy versus ego. So I would say like, please keep that up. Keep that ego low. Keep your confidence high because you're doing great work and you obviously are very swaggy, rizzed out individuals. Right. You know, but yeah, you have that because you have that humility and you have that like confidence. I saw the people swarming, like they were just naturally coming to you. So before Alana even introduced you, I knew y'all was somebody. So I'm really glad that it's this platform and you guys are doing fantastic work.
Nah, that's love.
That's the world. That's the world to us right there.
You motherfucker, Amari started. You just dunking, just hanging on the rim at this point.
Well, at this point, she gets a, you know.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
No, she's good.
She's good. She doesn't miss at this point. She doesn't miss at this point. She's good.
I really like that meme. I love them.
They love it. There we go. So before we before we get out of here, Jenni, one more thing I want to talk about. You brought it up briefly, but again, you don't have to dive too deep into it. But another and very important aspect in success is the family dynamic and the support of a significant other. So you don't have to dive too deeply into it, but can you just give the listeners an understanding of your view of the impact of having a significant other and what that's meant to you and allowing you to do the things that you wanted to do in the way that you've done it?
That's right.
Yeah, listen, partnership, village, community, it's critical, especially when you are trying to achieve a thing.
Yes.
And I am so blessed and privileged that I have like an equally successful partner. And we really both, like one of the things that ties us together are really strongly rooted in family values and raising our kids and to be awesome men. And so none of this, like you can tell when you're not with a good partner. And I think that holds a lot of people back, not just men, women. Men are equally held back by bad partnerships. But when you have a good one, you can see it. You can soar. Your load is lighter. It's a shared responsibility. Like even this podcast is brought to you by my partner because she has the boys at bay right now. Like they're probably clawing at the door, their hand underneath the door. Locked down somewhere. They're not even making a peep. I don't even know what they're doing out there. Like right before I joined, it was literally like, I'm like, hey, I don't even know if they're in the house. So a good partner will get you right. And I think that we forget really what partnership is supposed to be and what value they're supposed to bring to your life. But we all know the positive impacts of when it's right. And so I'm really, really blessed. I really am heavily rooted in family, blessed to have a partner that's the same, but also like there's no competition. We could both win. We could both soar. We could both support each other. When it's her time to be super swamped and busy, I'm the one with the kids in the car. So like it is a quid pro quo. It is a 80. We fill the gaps. It's not 50-50. It's whatever is needed, you know? And I think that that's just foundational. And that's outside of a romantic relationship. You should look at all partners and you should question all relationships in your life to see how they're lifting you up, because we tend to stick around things we've outgrown as people, right? We're the comfort of it versus the actually like the impact. And we have to constantly reevaluate that, I think, on an annual basis. Like we really need to take deep stock into the folks that we have surrounding us and see if they're lifting you up as well.
You on mute, Cuzzo.
That's as real as it gets, yo.
That's it.
And then especially like we literally just had this conversation earlier. me and Cuzzo. So this is my cousin. So I don't know if we told your story. The listeners know this is my cousin, like my blood, my brother, my right hand man, my best friend, all that stuff. We've done everything together. When I tell you this stuff, everything together.
We don't do everything together. Slow down. You speeding.
You know that. You know that. You don't say it other shit too. You know we.
I'm just saying I had to get on for it.
I don't want to hear it
on the show.
No, we keeps it real. I keeps it real. I'm just saying we done did everything.
That's a fact.
Business when it comes to this business, yo, this has taught us about our relationship.
Yes,
brothers. This will tell you if this is your brother or not. There is no faking in this shit.
Yes,
there is no faking because guess what? The truth gonna come to head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna come out at a time when you least expect it. It's gonna be this. Me and this dude, yo, talk about the Rohan. Me and him sitting there arguing with each other in Wet Willie's in Miami, Florida, about to interview Rohan Marley. And we put on our best interview ever. This is the shit that we do. And from the outside looking in, it's hard to understand our dynamic, but this is my brother. We've done everything together. Like, it's no malice. We just had this conversation. Like, yo, if I say something out of passion, it's no malice.
Yeah. I love that. Make a t-shirt out of that. No malice.
Yeah.
No malice.
It's what you said, though. It's what you said, Jenny. It's the understanding that, and we had this exact conversation, I promise you, before the show came on, is sometimes I might have to do 80, but I don't care. If I need to do 80 because you have to do something else, and I'll do the 80. Like it's not a oh, I'm not supposed to do 80. You cannot have that mindset and expect to succeed, right?
Actually.
The balance is us balancing getting the work done, taking care of ourselves, and being able to show up, like I said, and continue to get the work done. When we're sick, after an argument, yo, Cuzzo had food poisoning a week ago and was about to do the part. I'm like, bro, you're about to throw up. You sit this one out. But it goes to show you his passion where he was like, I think I could do it. Come on, bro. I think I could do it. I was like, bro, you ain't doing nothing today, bro. So sit your ass down. But again, like you said, you feel guilty when you take a day off. You feel guilty when you take time to take care of yourself because you are so passionate about what you're doing. So that's why we asked you that question, because we go through that ourselves, right? And a lot of people have come on this show and told very positive stories like the one you have, but also told very negative stories of having a job, and when they decided to become an entrepreneur, their relationship changed, right? Men have said it, women have said it. So again, our society, our culture needs to hear all sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like you said, because success is this, right?
Very
it's
much.
not this, right? It's like this, right? So they need to hear, listen, I've had a successful partnership. They need to hear, well, I didn't have a successful partnership, but this is why. So they need to hear all of these things. So now when they're on their own journey, they can relate to these stories and one, look out for red flags and go, you know what? I remember episode of More Than the Title. This is not healthy. And you understand, and hopefully we can provide enough information that people can just make better decisions, right? On their partners in general before you start. And then, like you say, every couple of months, reevaluate. Like, let's not make this long term if it's not working. Let's, know when to cut it short, know when to pivot. So that's why we asked you that question because our audience needs to hear that answer.
And we have more similarities than you think, sis.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
We have more. Like, you go into Poconos. I'm in Fairway Villas with my grandmother.
I was at Treetop. I was across the street from you, brother.
You had to graduate from Treetop. You had to go from Treetop to Fairway.
Yeah. Fairway. We got there.
However you get there, as long as you get the Fairway.
There you go.
We were there. But I want to speak to something that you just named, right? And I'm so happy to hear this. You move faster when you have understanding. Y'all get into an argument, y'all can sweep it under the rug, pull out the mic, and still interview somebody. Because intent is no malice, right? Regardless of your difference, that is the power of inclusion and diversity and collaboration. Because you have different thoughts, but you're able to navigate beyond it to get to a greater good. You called it out. That's exactly what it is. companies should be trying to unlock in their employees. The way you're working together, hey, y'all always are not going to be on the same page. Sometimes you have to do 80, sometimes you have to do 20, sometimes you have to do 80, but we're doing it for the greater good. Now, when it comes to partnership, right, you have to look at your partner together. It's not individual anymore. You have to look at it as a company almost. You are now a new company. What's in the best interest of the company? If you're sick and you're not feeling well, I got to come in for the best interest of this family, of this company. You want to take on a new job, you're doing it for the best interest of this company. So I got to take the supportive role, or vice versa. So that's how I think a critical component of when you know you're in the right partnership is when you can see beyond yourself and see how you're both contributing to the longer vision, the company goals, right? Your family goals, and how you each have to play a role to get there. And it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be roses and rainbows, but you know that the work that you're doing is for the greater good of the company, of that family, of your relationship. And so you put in that work. And so that's really a testament to partnership. Exactly what you have going on here with your cousin. And I love it.
Message.
Stop that me.
That was real. It was you and Mike.
It's the man trying to interrupt the partnership.
Look at the happiness. They want to see it.
They don't like it. They don't like it. God damn it.
Take us home, cuz.
You already know. So, Jenni, so like we do with each and every one of our guests, and it is an honor to be able to do this with you. First of all, I would like to say welcome to the More Than the Title family. Yeah. Welcome to the More Than the Title family. Yeah. So 2 things primarily that includes, right? The first thing it includes, because we don't believe in gatekeeping, right? This is how we help pass the torch and become a part of your village. Your episode 240, which means we've had 239 previous episodes to you. Any guest that has been on before you and any guest that will come on now after you, you now have access to, right? Regardless of if you're in the same industry, if you do the same thing, et cetera, it does not matter. If you see a guest that you want to connect with, this is how we do it. At the end of this show, we normally do a group text, all right, with the host and the guest. And you say, hey, I would like to, connect with A or B. We go, okay, give us your schedule. We'll contact them. They already know the same deal. And we will put you guys on a Zoom call based on your schedule. We will introduce A, this is B, B, this is A, and then we exit the call. Now, what you build on that is on you, right? But we have made the introduction and we ask 0. It's free 99. Free 99. We ask 0%.
That wants to meet me, please do the same.
And we appreciate that. Secondly, also with that being said, right? Once again, like I said to you earlier, this is now your platform. Consider this an extension of you and your company. This is your platform. It's our IP. We do what the fuck we want to do up here. You heard?
One more time.
Whether the man try to cut us off or not, he tell me shut up, we shut up. But then when the man leaves, we be talking again. We talking again. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So, like I said, any type of information that you want to get out to the people, any type of event that you would like to have us come and support you, whether we're covering the event or we're just there in support. This year, when you met us in Black Week, we were there as support. Last year, we actually covered the event. We was actually the podcast of the event, right? So that just goes to show you that even if we're not hosting or covering the event, we still will show up to show solidarity, to show that we can still work together just because we're not doing a certain aspect of this event, right? So if you have any event that you want us to show up to, please let us know. Or, let us, any event that you want the community to come out to, we will disseminate that information. And, or if you have in New York and you don't want to cook, but you want a cheeseburger, you want a good chopped cheese or something like that, you want to meet up for a good chopped cheese, we know one of the best chopped cheese spots. You want to go down to Katz and get a good roast beef sandwich and just say, hey, I'm in New York, let's hang out, let's get something to eat and break bread. We're always around to do that too. Just let us know, because this is not transactional. And, we believe in building the brand and becoming part of your village. So welcome to the village. Welcome to the More Than the Title. Yeah. And before we get out of here,
No Malice t-shirt tomorrow, please.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
It might be on the 15th.
We'll work on it.
We'll send it to you though.
So before we get out of here, and this is a mandatory thing, please, Jenni, you have said phenomenal. You have dropped so many gems. You've given out so much information. Please tell the listeners, the viewers, the subscribers, how to get in contact with you, how to get more information from you, how to connect with you, how to get more information about your company and things of that nature.
Oh man, thank you for this.
Yeah.
Look, I have social media. I'm not the best at it right now, but I'm definitely on Instagram at Jenni FDB, which means from the block, right? And I also have a website, jennilewis.com. And I'm on LinkedIn as well under Jenni Lewis. So feel free to reach out to me or through this awesome platform. And I'm here to chat with you, to help uncover what's next, to help you think about the next thing. I really love leaning back into the community that way. And I also love talking about big ideas. So please reach out to me. I really appreciate this time. You made 2 hours feel like 20 minutes, and that is magical. That is magical.
If you reach out to Jenni, come through correct.
There it is.
Respectful. You know what it is. Come through right. That's it. That's all we ask.
That's it.
Be intentional, be thoughtful, do all those things, right? She has 3 kids. She is doing the work out here. So be mindful that if she don't respond in that day, guess what? Shoot the shot again. She might not have seen it. Don't take everything personal. Just give her grace. She's doing the shit and she's doing it for the right reason. So please keep that in mind. That's all.
And that's what it is. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been another phenomenal episode. I told you, we're batting 1,000. We bring you the guests. They give you the gems. They give you the information, and we're changing the culture. Now, this young lady came through, and once again, be thankful that she was vulnerable. She told you her story. She told you, listen, I grew up from humble beginnings like many of us have. Grew up in the PJs. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I did this and I did that, but I didn't realize what poverty was until a certain age. But I kept working at it. But she was focused, right? She was focused, right? She took that focus and started using that to guide her direction, right? That's a key, right? Even though we can grow up in humble beginnings, that doesn't mean that you can't be focused and know what you want to do and work at trying to get to where you want to be. She also dropped another gem that I'm going to say, y'all might have missed it, but I have to clarify because I know a lot of our listeners are from local areas. She's from Staten Island. Yes, Staten Island is a borough. Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and Manhattan. Harlem is not a borough. Harlem is not a borough. You know what I'm saying? It's not a borough. He's from the Woo, baby. So I'm just letting you know, you take the ferry over there and it's all love over there, but Harlem is not a borough. Be educated. You know what I'm saying? And she told you that the hustle don't stop. She told you that, listen, even if aliens come down, E.T. gonna phone Jenni, not phone home. He gonna phone Jenni. I'm gonna be the representative, but we gonna get in these rooms. We gonna do what we gotta do. Even if the title is taken away, she told you that she's gonna continue to do the work. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's about mindset, impact over metrics. She's out here. She's hustling. She got a family. She got a partner. Her grind is crazy. You know what it is. How we end off the show every single time. The grind, the hustle is free.
But the dream is sold separately, y'all. Y'all know what it is. We're going to see y'all on Thursday. We got some shit for y'all.
I like this shit, boy.
Obi, baby.
What you know about me?